you tell me a bit more about AD Heating?
AD Heating was formed approximately 4 years ago to install renewables. We felt there was a large gap between the grand designs programs that were on TV and what actually could be installed by the local heating engineers and plumbers and things like that. So there was a large technical gap between the two, and I was very interested in installing something we could make a difference now. So we predominantly started installing solar thermal, and then that slowly shifted into the more technical side of things with biomass boilers, which are slightly more complicated in their control algorithms and things like that, but the plumbing is fairly straightforward.
Can you tell me a bit more about the heat hut and how it works?
Well, the heat hut was a concept that a local joiner, Freddie Simpson from Maud, and I came up with because a lot of people don't have the space for a biomass boiler, like myself. So we've got our own on our own house, and it has the pellet store and also the boiler encompassed into one, but also the solar thermal. No one renewable, I think, works very well on its own, and it's a combination of renewables that works best. And obviously we have long daylight hours up in Aberdeenshire, so we get great solar gain in the summertime. And in the wintertime it's cold and you want heat, and a biomass boiler fits perfectly in that.
And where are you working at the most at the moment?
Mostly we actually install very locally. I could say the majority of the boilers that we look after, which is about half the biomass boilers in Aberdeenshire, are within 45 minutes of our base. Further afield, we think it's important that biomass installers are close or local to their installations, because you do have teething problems, and there's still an education to be going on with the clients, and so it's important to be able to respond quickly so that it's not down for too long or anything like that. And so we're actually looking for installer partners across Scotland to take from our experience and also supply them with equipment, but to be able to install all over Scotland.
And I suppose looking forward, you mentioned going across Scotland, but maybe 5-10 years in the future, where do you see the technology going, or your company as well?
The technology is really good. I mean, Scotland as a whole has a great resource and a low population density, so we're very similar to Austria. Austria produce over 200 million tonnes of pellet a year. They're getting quite close to their capacity for sawdust and shavings to manufacture that. Currently we only produce about 200,000 tonnes a year in the whole of the UK. We can support a lot of smaller biomass installations and also medium-sized biomass installations. It's the big ones, that megawatt-sized power stations that combine heat and power, that Scotland couldn't cope currently with the infrastructure that's in place. The industry as a whole is great. The fuel's produced locally, it's delivered locally, it supports local jobs, and it brings more money into the area.
And do you see a certain feedstock that's particularly popular?
Feedstock as in?
For a biomass feedstock.
Pellet is the preferred option for a domestic situation and also medium scale hotel. It's a convenient fuel, it's more dense than wood chip, and you don't need such big handling equipment to move the wood around to get it into the boiler. So pellet is our preferred choice. If you talk about wood chip, it's bulkier, and you need equipment to basically push the fuel into the boiler. Logs is a lifestyle choice. It's a lot of hard work for the customer, but very rewarding in the fact that they have to chop and split all the wood, but it can be quite rewarding in that respect.